Good evening and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Salia Strzemska. Russia has launched a devastating attack on Kharkiv, Ukraine, using bombs, missiles and drones, resulting in tragic loss of lives. In a separate development, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has expressed hope for dialogue with Donald Trump at the upcoming G7 summit in Canada, although he has firmly rejected Trump's comparison of the conflict to, quote, children fighting in a park, stressing its serious nature. Additionally, the anticipated prisoner exchange scheduled for this Saturday did not occur. To make sense of it all, I have Oleksiy Goncharenko, Ukrainian MP, European Solidarity, joining me right now. Good evening, Oleksiy. Delighted to have you with us.
Good evening.
So President Volodymyr Zelenskyy rejected Trump's comparison of Russia's war against Ukraine to children fighting in a park. Do you think that this will complicate the already strained relationship between Ukraine and the US moving forward?
I don't think that this exactly will complicate, but it's really a strange comparison. In general, all recent comments of President Trump, they are making in some way, like equal Ukrainian and Russian position. And I don't know, maybe President Trump forgot who started this war, that Russia brutally violated international law, invaded independent country, which independence and borders recognized many times. And now he is saying, oh, Russia has the right to this, oh, I understand Russia about that. It's quite strange. I mean, I understand that President Trump wants to be a negotiator, and as a negotiator, maybe he tries to be good with both sides. But it looks like he's quite tough about Ukraine, and he's very kind about Russia. And unfortunately, we see that after each conversation with Trump, Putin feels himself emboldened and even making more attacks, killing more civilians. I really believe that President Trump wants to achieve peace, but I think he uses absolutely wrong tactics to reach this. If he really wants to have peace, he needs to show strength. Putin understands only one language of strength, language of force. And that's exactly which Trump is not showing towards Russia. And so I am really unhappy with all these last comments and quite with the failure. Trump failed to end the war. And that is the reality of today.
Right. So why is this meeting, potential meeting, right, during the G7 so important for Zelenskyy? I also wanted to remind you that recently Trump said that it might be best not to intervene in Russia's war against Ukraine. That was said on June 5th, so very recently. So what kind of developments?
There are different comments of President Trump, and I don't think there is a sense to comment each of his posts, because sometimes he's saying Putin is crazy, what he is doing, he's killing civilians, then he's saying something different. Is there a sense to meet with President Trump? Definitely. What I told, I said, I am critical towards President Trump now, but it doesn't change the fact that he's the president of the United States of America, and there will be no other president for the next 3.5 years. And the United States is absolutely crucial partner for Ukraine, key partner, key ally. So when I'm showing kind of my concerns or frustration, it doesn't mean that we need to, in any way, just to deteriorate our relationships with the United States. Opposite, we need to improve these relationships. We need to explain to President Trump what should be done in order to achieve our common goal. Again, I really believe that President Trump wants to achieve peace. And to do this and to make this, we can only together.
Right, absolutely. And Oleksiy, what about the prisoner exchange that was supposed to happen today but did not? And of course, we have different narratives coming from Ukraine and coming from Russia. Can you shed more light on this?
Yeah, Russia has always organized provocation on a very sensitive issue with the bodies of killed people. And today exchange was not scheduled. So Ukrainian side was not preparing and not confirming this exchange, which Russia tried to make. And they made this show with the refrigerator with bodies of dead soldiers and officers. I think it's real shame, like Russia is like, they violate international law, they violate moral, they are kidnapping children, they're killing civilians. But even the last thing, bodies of warriors. Something I think in all history of war, which was quite a sacred thing, because it can happen to everybody. So it's very, very brutal and bad thing that they are doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Right, so you've called the US Ukraine's key ally. However, you've got other allies such as the Baltic states, as they issued a statement, right? Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia called for NATO membership for Ukraine. It said that it is a key to a lasting peace in Europe. The issue will most probably be discussed during the Hague summit. What are your thoughts on this? Are you hoping that things will be moved forward regarding the EU or perhaps NATO?
First of all, I would like to thank Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia for this statement and for constant support of Ukraine. They're real friends, and we will never forget it. I'm not optimistic about NATO membership right now, and I don't think we should wait something from Hague summit. I am optimistic about European Union membership, but also we have a lot of problems caused, first of all, by Hungary now. I hope that United States will influence Hungary to stop this blackmailing. I hope that European countries will manage to find a deal with Hungary in order not to make these obstacles on European Euro integration way. And one thing that I want everybody to be absolutely aware of, it's not just that Ukraine needs to Europe, but Europe needs Ukraine. We have the strongest army in Europe, in the civilized Europe. This is reality. 1 million battle-hardened people who know what is a modern warfare of 21st centuries. Mm-hmm. There is no other army like this in civilized world. Russian army, yes, but they are barbarians which are trying to invade Europe. So I think it would be a huge strategic mistake for Europe not to make everything to have Ukraine inside to help Ukraine to survive, but at the same time to use Ukraine as a stronghold in the east, which is protecting the whole Europe. This is so obvious, and I hope that Europe will realize it.
Right, and I feel like they already do, right, with France signing this new drone agreement. Also, Ukraine has been invited to join expeditionary force. So my question for you is, aren't you seeing this already happening, perhaps?
Oh, this is, again, very good thing, but this joint expeditional corps, it's not a substitute to NATO. And it's not. It doesn't exclude EU membership. So we need to move on all directions. We need to become a member of European Union. We need to have common military projects with European countries, like you mentioned, this drone project with France. We need to be active part of the joint expeditional force, corps. And at the same time, we need to move towards NATO. Yeah, it's clear that today NATO membership is not on the table. But I think the day will come, and maybe quicker than many think, that Ukraine will be invited to NATO.
Right.
Once again, I just want everybody to understand, it's not a charity towards Ukraine. It's mutually beneficial. We need security. We need to be together in order to survive in the world, which is a very dangerous place today to live in.
Right, Oleksiy, and is this deadline for joining the EU 2030 a realistic date? I wanted to ask you about what is happening in Ukraine in terms of reforms, because you're an insider, of course, when it comes to Ukrainian politics. So could you perhaps explain that?
I am quite critical about many things which are happening inside of Ukraine, but it doesn't mean that we are not ready or we shouldn't move towards European Union. Quite opposite. Our movement towards European Union will help us to tackle challenges like including President Zelenskyy to become more autocratic, including problems with the rule of law and corruption and other problems that we do have in Ukraine. I don't want to say that we don't have any problems. No, we have a lot. But these movements...
No, I was just asking what kind of reforms are being done? What kind of steps are being done? Could you perhaps explain that to us?
Yeah, definitely Ukraine is making... we will need hours to speak about all of this. Ukraine is constantly changing its legislation in order to make it compliant with European. Ukraine is developing all sectors, not just army itself, but military production and others in the security area in order to be complementary with NATO standards. We are making everything to make our army absolutely on NATO standards. And we are moving on many directions. Yes, in some areas which are already mentioned, we have problems. But again, we can tackle these problems on our move to European Union. And we need to do this.
Right, absolutely. Oleksiy Goncharenko, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.